On this episode of Samp&Chance, we go back to Saudi Arabia to check out Crown Jewel, the show that was. And you know what? They're not wasting any time because War Games is already taking shape. So, guys and gals, all this review plus the news of the week. So, strap in and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. It's Tuesday afternoon. That means wrestling. And I'm joined by my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance. Michael Chance, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. Tuesday, Vancouver, anyways, nice and sunny, but very windy. How about you out there in the valley?
Good, man. Sunny, not windy here at all. It's a beautiful day for November. We're so lucky to live in BC. At least the coast down here in the lower mainland. It's beautiful.
No, we're very, very fortunate. Being closer to the water, though, we get a different kind of cold than you probably do. I think you still get more of a dry cold, which is weird considering it's only like 30 minutes apart, but it's so weird how it changes.
Yeah.
But speaking of changes, here we are, man. Crown Jewel, right off the bat. I'll tell you what, my friend, I thought it was an average show at best. I had a few moments in there, but it wasn't pop, bang, smash, exciting. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess it was above average just because you got some of the big stars out there. You got John Cena, you got Logan Paul, you had Roman Reigns. There's some of the heavy hitters out there, but yeah, it wasn't the best show I've ever seen. But I thought overall was good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a good show.
No surprises, nothing crazy, but
yeah. I know nothing hardcore that way. I just thought, I don't know, I felt like it was just missing something. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't have a certain pop that some shows have. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but hey, let's talk about the show, man. First match, we both picked Seth Rollins to win, and he did. Seth versus Drew for the World Heavyweight title. Drew came out into this match, taking the early lead, beating on him, really showcasing how bad Seth's back was. Took that pretty hard bump against the apron when he kind of body slammed him or whatever he did to him there. Kicked out of the pedigree. Seth kicked out of the Claymore, back and forth, but eventually it took the pedigree and the stomp to get the job done. Overall thoughts on this match? Oh, yes, Damian Priest came into cash, but Sammy came and disrupted that completely. So Seth remains champion. Your thoughts?
it was a good match. They got good chemistry together. Seth had, always got that flashy gear on. So every time he never wears the same outfit twice, which is, just his character, something nice to see, something different. It was a solid match. It wasn't a showstopper, but it was good. We all knew Seth was going to win. Drew's not taking the belt. I don't think Drew will be champion again. If he is, it's not going to be for a while. But it was a solid match. They worked their butts off, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, fair enough. Right after that, we get backstage, and Drew's sitting there with his head down, and Rhea Ripley walks by, gives him a look, and gives him a shrug. Things to come, you think, or just kind of playing with people?
I could see Drew joining that crew. They need something. They need that. I think that crew is, like I've always said, I'm not a fan of them at all. I think it's pretty shabby looking crew. They look like they're from East Vancouver. I don't know. Maybe they could give him. It would definitely help. Drew's just kind of floating around now, right? Doesn't really have a program anymore. Now he's down with Seth. I don't know if they're going to keep going on with Seth, but yeah, I can see Drew turning heel and doing that.
I think, yeah, we're seeing the slow heel turn here, so I'm not sure what they're going to do with Drew next, but I guess we'll find out in time tells.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Now, we are going to the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Now, here's the question I had written down, okay, before we even get into this match. So a week before, they had boxing in the city, right?
Yeah,
and they had the ring girls, and they had all, like they're wearing their bikinis and this and that. And I noticed that when the UFC girls fight in there, they're also fighting in, their little shorts and their little tank tops. Why is WWE so subject to having I have nothing against it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious to why the boxing ring girls can still be in their bikinis, and the MMA girls can be in their small little gear and what have you. Why are the WWE girls still being covered head to toe? I don't have the answer. I'm not sure if you have the answer.
I don't have the answer to that. I'm not sure if that was in the contract. I'm not sure if that's the women saying, screw you guys, we're going to protest it. I don't know. You never know. I'm not sure on that answer. It's a great question, actually.
Right, because if you think about when UFC does their shows, they still have the ring girls.
Mm-hmm. I think only Dana White, Vince McMahon, and Bob Arum could answer that because I'm not quite sure.
Very interesting though, like how it's so different.
Good observation.
Right, and you know, like okay, with the UFC girls, one could argue, okay, well they can wear, you know, they have to wear that gear because of what they do, right? But the reality is, they could still move around in full leggings and a top if they had to, like, you know, no gi jiu-jitsu gear.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great observation, dude. And I only think about 3 or 4 guys could really answer that. And I'm not sure. Good question, though. Good observation.
Oh, thanks, bro. I mean, if anyone knows the answer, please let us know in the comments. You know,
Yeah,
we know ourselves. If not, I'll probably find out the answer after this podcast and get
Check
it
it
out
out.
there somewhere. All right, so let's get into this match. So Nia basically gets out of the match, lets the other girls work. She's going to be the catalyst here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately in this match, no matter, even though Raquel and Rhea are, you know, big, strong women, you know, Nia just is kind of portrayed as that monster type of girl.
She's stronger than those two. Bigger, stronger.
So back and forth, everyone's kind of fighting in this one. I mean, overall, I thought the match was really good. I thought I had no problems with it. Good action. Right girl won. Zoe Starks almost had it, but you know, got broken up at the last minute there, which allowed Rhea to get the win and walk out of there with the champion. You can't take that offer right now, anyways.
No, Rhea's too hot. She has to keep it.
Right. You know, so I mean, there's not really no much to say about that. John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. We both thought John was going to win here, but
there's
you know
one thing on the show that I didn't like. I don't know why. I get it. He's trying to put the young guy over, but Solo Sikoa, he's not going to be the next big star. He's not going to be the next big thing. I don't think by him beating John Cena is really going to make a difference for him. He's like lost in that bloodline shuffle. I don't know. I thought they should have gave it to John Cena. Not that it matters at this point whether John wins or loses, anyways. But I don't know. I guess you're trying to give Solo that push, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it does, but I mean, if you go back to SmackDown and watch the match there or their interaction there, like I guess the week before he got the thumb to the throat and you know he was working the sore throat angle sort of a deal, the Tyson Fury throat. You know that's how Tyson got that voice. He never used to speak like that, right?
Who?
Tyson Fury.
Well, you got the throat thing?
Yeah, like the way his raspy voice.
Yeah.
He got punched in the throat in sparring.
I can see that.
And
ever since then, that's his
voice.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you go back to his earlier fights, he sounds like Tommy.
Yeah. I don't understand why they let Solo Sikoa win. Like, I mean, he's not over. The fans don't really care for him. He just kind of hangs out the bloodline. And I guess they're trying to give him that chance. Here you go. He just beat John Cena, one of the top of all time. So here you go with it. Run with it, I guess.
Well, I mean, here's another example of John Cena putting over talent, right? I mean, anyone who wants to shit on him for not doing it, or people are saying, oh, John Cena always took the limelight or never shared. No, man. You go to Titus O'Neil, Tyrus, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He tells the story about John Cena.
Impact champion for many years. Yeah.
Tyrus told the story that he was at WrestleMania and basically, I guess whoever's match was before Tyrus's match went too long. And, you know, they said, oh, your match is canceled. We can't put it on. And Cena was standing there and his match was next. I can't remember who he was fighting. And Cena goes, oh, I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And he looks at Tyrus and goes, how long's your match do you think you need? To go about 5 minutes. And they go, yeah, I need about 5 minutes in the bathroom. So that's how he was able to get his match on, man. Like John Cena.
I think a little bit in the wrestling where we harp on, oh, he's not putting this guy where he's not putting that guy. But at the end of the day, people want to see the stars. You know what I mean? They pay to watch the stars. They want to see their stars win. So you can't always put over it. You got to put over the young guys too, but they also got to win too. Keep their value up. Like you want to go to a concert, you want to see Mick Jagger. You don't want to see the opening band the whole time. So I kind of look at it that way. But
no, I agree. But I think this is a storyline they're working on here, right? Because I mean, they're teasing him retiring now, and they're teasing him, and now he lost the Solo. They keep pushing the fact that he hasn't won a singles match since 2017.
Yeah.
I mean, so the fact that they're passing on this information, you know, Cena's acting the way he is on Instagram today, he posted something. It's a young version of himself looking at himself today. You know, kind of like, okay,
still in amazing shape for mid-40s. He's in better shape than most guys in the roster in their 20s.
Right. And here's the thing I'm wondering about. Do they give him the title one more time? I mean, with Ric Flair now.
Yeah, because he wants to beat that record.
Right. But does WWE do it now? Is there more motivation for them to do it?
Absolutely. You don't
Considering
think
how
Vince
great-
McMahon's thinking, all right, you signed with AEW for a couple of years? Okay, John Cena, you're going to break his record soon. Yeah, absolutely.
How do they do it now, though? How do they do it? That's the
He
question.
just beats Seth and Roman Reigns. He can do it. Or somebody else beats Roman Reigns, he gets from him. They in wrestling, dude.
No,
nothing-
I get it. I get it. It's just the booker in me starts to think out loud, like, okay, how is this going to work? So basically, it wasn't a squash match, but
And I'll be honest with you, Ric Flair is, one of my top two or three favorite of all time. Still love the guy. But he wasn't really a WWE guy all the way, right? He's more of a WCW, NWA guy. John Cena's a WWE guy. So if I'm Vinnie Mac and them, I say, you know what? You're breaking the record. You're our Babe Ruth. You're going to get it. I wouldn't be surprised if he even has it for a month or something. Wouldn't doubt it.
I think
Not for sure, but I would assume that's what they're thinking.
I think it would just go pay-per-view to pay-per-view sort of a deal, right? Kind of a deal. I don't know. See what his work schedule is once they all get back to Hollywood and everything as well. Yeah, I mean, this match basically ended with Cena taking a whole bunch of Samoan Mike to put him down. So I mean, it wasn't like an easy squash when he really had to, damage him nicely to get this win. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But I mean,
Solo Sikoa is a guy that I don't think will catch on. He's just going to be a middle of the road guy who's happy with the bloodline. So see what happens.
Well, let's find out. Cena got a standing ovation as he departed. I think maybe he gets a match at Mania and then he's basically done. Who knows?
That's what they say, but he's still in good shape. He still moves well. Who knows?
All right. Miss TV featuring the star of the highest grossing film in Saudi Arabia. I don't remember his name. I apologize. But Grayson Waller comes out and they have their interaction and basically just ends with the Miz and the grossingest star of all time in Saudi Arabia beating him up.
Yep. Hey, that's a good segment because the fans love that guy. He's a big star. He's like their, Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise, whatever you want to call him. And
I apologize. I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name, but it's a great segment. It was well done, and you got to do that stuff. These guys are paying a lot of money for this show. You got to throw them a bone too. So
look,
good segment.
you know what? And to be fair, man, you got to throw them more than a bone, in my opinion. This is why I had higher expectations of the show. Let me clear that up right off the bat. So these guys in Saudi paid WWE $50 million to run the show there, right? 50 million. So if you think about that, that's the equivalent of 3 WrestleManias in one show.
WrestleMania will go to Saudi Arabia one day. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, it's going to happen. And that's fine too. In fact, I'd rather watch it in the afternoon than have, being stuck on the couch all evening.
Yeah.
But think about that, Chance. $50 million. So that's why in my head, I was thinking, okay, bigger explosions, bigger things, some, big changes, some, things like that. You know what I mean? And there had to be a title change on the show. And I guess the next match here that we're going to talk about, and if you go into our social, you will see that I am eating crow. It's not tasty, but you know what? An honest, truthful man, a man of God, will always own his own mistakes. And
it's the match I was looking forward to the most. I said it before. I'm a huge fan of the guy, and you break it down, but I love this match.
No, I thought the match was great. Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio Jr. for the United States Championship. Like I said in the reel, guys, go back and check it out. If you ever want to see me admit to something, it's right there. Now, that being said, I was never, tell me if I'm right or wrong, Chance, I was never hardcore on Logan Paul. I just wasn't sure about him. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Now, I will say this.
You never doubted his athleticism because nobody can deny that. He's a freak athlete. You always admitted that. Yeah.
I'll say this, okay? And this is what I said in the reel. Now, Logan Paul, I'm wrong. You are an amazing athlete. You are an amazing wrestler.
Great heel too.
You still have a long way to go in terms of honing the craft and making it your own, but for what you've done in the little time that you've had to do
only 8 matches.
You've done a great job. I noticed from match to match to match to match, you have gotten better. So I if I had a hat on, I take my hat off, I tip my hat to you, right? Great job. Great ring awareness. I love that. And the reason I mentioned that is because there was that one spot where Ray did that backflip off the rope. He was going to break his neck, man, but Logan caught him just at the right moment. Now, I don't know if that was ring awareness or coincidence, but I'm going to go with ring awareness because he just showed me a lot. You know what? In this particular match, he showed me a lot. He showed me that he could sell. He showed me that he could work. He could take the bump. He knew the cues, how to act over it. He knew what to do. So from that perspective, great showing. At the end of the day, you know, the only thing I'll probably debate now is is he going to be a full-time guy, or is he going to be like Roman Reigns now and only show up, you know, by monthly to defend the title? And we talked about this off the air a little bit, like, okay, so storylines is what drives wrestling, correct? Like if you look at Raw, you have all the guys in their storylines that are going for Gunther. You got the guys in their storylines that lead up to that one storyline with Seth, the same with Rhea. This being said, the only title that has a story or anything going for it on SmackDown would be the women's title now. The tag title is a dual show thing, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, it all depends who they're going to pick next and what show they're going to focus on with the tag titles. So SmackDown technically has no titles right now, unless Logan or Roman start coming back a little bit more. Do you see my point? Like, I know what
Yeah, I
you're
get it,
saying.
but nobody. I don't think people care about the titles much anymore. It's about a show, right? And it's
No, I
nice to
get
have the strap, but like Roman Reigns and Logan Paul are such special talents. They're unique from 98% of the roster, so you don't need to see them every SmackDown, every show. I think you will see Logan Paul a little bit more, but you don't need to have him defend the title all the time. The fact that Logan Paul, who's got, you know, the most popular drink right now, he's got sponsorship from UFC, he does boxing, and he's a global star, and he's a heck of an athlete, better than 95% of the roster. Just having him that belt and all the extra eyeballs and promotion that he's pumping this up everywhere he goes. One of my dreams, one of this, one of that. So I know what you're saying, but this is special attractions for me. I would like seeing them not all the time, because then it's not a special attraction. Lesnar, Reigns, Logan Paul. I think you will see Logan Paul a little more than Reigns, because like you said, he's got the US belt. He won't have it for long, but he doesn't need it for long. There's just the accolade to put up there for him, because he works so hard. And people, he's such a good athlete. That jump that he did in the middle of the ring when he jumped up to the frog splash, he got higher than the ropes.
No,
Like,
he
he's
did.
an
He looked great.
amazing natural
Nothing,
athlete, just
nothing
God-given
against,
talent.
like, look, man, as a
Amazing.
wrestler, and I said this as well earlier, as a wrestler, nothing but accolades and a standing ovation on my part.
But
Absolutely.
he's amazing.
Other aspects of his life, I'll argue still, right? I mean, but that's neither here or there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's lots of crappy guys in wrestling.
Yeah. But I mean, as an in-ring performer and what he's shown, absolutely amazing. And you know what?
And a great businessman, best
No,
businessman of wrestling too. Look at
no,
that drink. Prime is all over.
well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, I get what you're saying about the titles and everything, but I think my point is that it's just about the storylines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's gonna be like what it's like watching AEW. There's no structure per se,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you could pick up AEW and know what's going on just only for the fact, and this again, just my opinion. There's really no structured stories or anything that will make me want to come back and tune in next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I
Logan
mean.
will just show up. He'll cut a couple promos. He'll have a
Yeah.
whoever
Like I
he meet
don't
against
expect them.
Santos. He'll fight it. He'll be at War Games.
I don't expect him to fight every week or this and that, but just have a presence. That's all I'm saying. Just cut a promo on the
But
big.
he's such a big star. They're not going to have him there, because then it takes away from having him there.
Yeah.
That's one thing I learned from Vince McMahon. I remember him saying as young, they're special attraction guys. If you see them all the time, you can kiss the special attraction goodbye. So you might see him twice a month. And for me, that's good enough. Every second SmackDown, he does the big ones. Eventually, he'll probably defend the belt once or twice and then lose it.
Yeah, no. All right, let's move on, buddy. So we have Io Sky defending against a returning Bianca Belair. Solid match, man. I guess this was
Bianca's a good worker.
wicked match between the two. Io looks amazing. I mean, I'm a little bit of a mark for her anyway, so I'm always going to be happy to watch
Yeah,
Io.
she's good.
But here's how this match kind of comes to an end. Outside interference by a returning Kairi Sane, former tag team partner of Io Sky. And the way she was written off at WWE when she left was by Bayley giving her the brutal beating that she did to get her off TV. So this match ends with Kairi and Io in the ring with a baffled Bayley looking on. This is good. I like the story.
It was good. Yeah, it's a good. Bianca's. I think she's the best talent overall for the women's wrestling. Myself, for the other women's wrestlers, but yeah, it was a good match, and they got good chemistry together. They pulled it off well, especially following Logan and Ray.
Yeah, and Bianca looked great, man. I mean, considering she's been off for a few months, doing her thing, she came back. She didn't look like she missed a beat, but again,
Nope.
Io was really good too. So the two of them working together was really, really good. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm happy to see Carrie Sane back, man. She looked awesome.
He did.
I just love where that story's going. I mean, it just looks like a lot of fun because damage control. Well, your best friend just came back and you're a part of the group of, where the leader of that group is the one who beat you out of the
Yeah.
company. So let's see where this goes, man. Let's see where this
Yeah, it was
goes.
good. They're building it up.
Very cool. All right, let's move on here. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest, a Raw TV match at best. I'll leave it at
Yeah.
that. Cody does the business, gets out of there with the Cody cutter. Two attempts with the Cody cutters doesn't work, so he does the crossroads. Bob's your uncle. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nothing special. Just a match. It was okay. But
Yeah. Roman versus LA Knight. Your thoughts?
it was a good match. LA Knight showed for an old guy. He's an old guy that is really starting, really, like at the big level. He's in his early 40s. He held his own. He looked good. He's pretty athletic. It was a good match. We all knew Roman was going to win. LA Knight's not beating Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel, but it was a good match. I thought they worked well. LA Knight proved that he can hang with the big boys. He can be in a main event, and he worked his butt off. So I usually knock the guy, but I can't knock him on this one. He brought his A game. He went all out. He held his own with the best because he's the champ, right? And Roman's always good. He knows what to do. Roman throws one of the best working punches. His punches are always good. They're always stiff. Roman works like a tough guy. He looks like a tough guy. And LA Knight was good. He impressed me. He held his own. Can't knock him.
I thought he looked really good, and the way Roman won as well really ensured that LA Knight didn't lose any steam.
No.
There was that moment where he hit the blunt head trauma, got him down. Sure victory, but Jimmy comes and puts the foot on the rope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then grabbing the table, putting that out for Roman to kind of spear him through it and what have you. So I
didn't like the Uso coming in there and doing that. I thought Roman could have beat him clean. He didn't need. LA Knight is just getting hot now. Roman didn't need extra help to beat him. To me, that
Roman didn't
weakens Roman a little bit.
But no, like I said though, I agree. I don't think Roman needed him to beat him, but at the same time, this just protects LA Knight just in case, you know what I mean? It just to keep him going, to keep him hot. I mean, the same could have been said about Sammy. I don't think, all the interference needed to be done in Montreal for him to lose. He could have lost to Roman clean, but just to keep that heat going. So let's see where they go with it.
He did good, man. Like this is his first main event of a headline ever, a show he's ever done on a pay-per-view, right? And he went against Roman. He looked good. They had good chemistry. They're both about the same size and worked well together. Actually, the match was better than I was expecting. So hats off to both of them. It was a good match.
Yeah, no, I had no problem with it, and but like I said, I think overall the show was good. Like you said, I'd give it a 7 too. Like it moved well, it did everything. But I just thought for $50 million, I just was waiting for something else. But I don't know what I was waiting for or what I was expecting. But I just thought that there should have been just a little bit more sizzle in there somewhere. But I couldn't tell you where it was or what it should have been. But
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 just because my boy Logan Paul got that belt. To me, that's huge, right? Because he's all over social media, millions and millions of followers, the belt on and pumping it up, and it was a good pay-per-view overall. 7.5, like you said, it wasn't the best I've ever seen, but it wasn't bad. There's some good matches, and you got to see John Cena out there. It's always good. Watch him while you can, because you don't know how many more matches he's got left. So
I think he's got maybe 3 or 4 left in him, because like once Hollywood season starts opening up again, he's got about 4 or 5 films that he's working on. So I mean, there's going to be a big gap there again if he does come back, right? So let's see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we are now, I guess, in Connecticut at the Mohegan. Are we in Connecticut? Is that where they come back to? Where are we?
Tonight?
Oh no, they're in Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Sorry,
Yeah.
At the Mohegan Sun Arena. Oh, they made it all the way back to Pennsylvania. Interesting. All right, Monday Night Raw. Here we are. Now we're on the road to Survivor Series, my friend. Here we go. One of the big 4. Seth Rollins comes out. He's glad to still be world champion. He thanks all the people. Thanks Drew McIntyre for a great match and making him better than he was before. And here comes Sami Zayn, and Rollins thanks. Oh, Sami for helping him out there. And that kind of leads to the main event of the night, which will be Sammy versus Seth for the world heavyweight title. Two working men guys, hardcore, both saying, look, neither one of us is 100%. We're never 100%. So let's do it tonight. So
Yeah.
that's the main event tonight. New Day versus Judgment Day to start off the show. I don't know. They burned through this match pretty quickly, man. It could have been, could have been a title match. I think New Day's trying to come back into their own a little bit here.
They are a little bit. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Average match at best. I think the ending came. Balor sling blades Woods into this, into the corner, drops him, does the coup de grace. Bob's your uncle. They win the match.
Yeah.
Could have been a pay-per-view match, in my opinion. 9 minutes, 10 seconds. What do you think?
I don't know if it could be a pay-per-view match. It was a good. I mean, like I said, they're trying to get New Day out on every show now. They're kind of coming into their own, like you already said. You knew New Day wasn't going to be Judgment Day. It was decent, I guess, a little bit rushed, but I mean, 9 minutes for a TV match isn't bad.
Yeah, fair play. Shinsuke Nakamura, Akara Tozawa, all Japanese affair, 2 minutes and 31 seconds, pretty much a squash. At the end of it, you get Otis coming in, you stare down Shinsuke.
Yeah. I like that. You got to keep Otis. He's fun. You got to have entertaining guys on. They're goofy, but he's strong. So I like that. Keep Otis around.
Yeah. Here we go. Miz versus Bronson Reed versus Ivar versus Ricochet to determine the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. So basically, the ending here comes when Ivar's coming back in. The Monster drops Ricochet. Oh, pardon me. Let me just clear my notes up here. So the end comes when Ricochet drops the Miz for two. Ivar comes back into the ring for a splash to make the save. The Monster drop Ricochet and the Miz again before going up. And Ivar's moonsault hits Ricochet, but Miz avoids. Reads to Sami, leads Ivar out of the ring, which gives Miz the opportunity to do the double pin on them. So
Yeah.
Miz is your Intercontinental number one contender. It looks like we're getting a face here in him now.
I think so. He's been heel for so long, and I'm glad he won that match. And see him go face. He's getting a little bit older now, so let him switch it up.
Put that exclamation on it by Ivar beating the crap out of him after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it's a good match.
Right. So here we have the Creed brothers versus DIY. Your thoughts on this match?
Why? I don't know. I don't understand the DIY team. I mean, I was not a bad match. I like the Creed brothers. I mean, yeah, it was okay. They work well together. They're all good chemistry, but filler match, I guess. I'm not sure how else to describe it. Something to fill up the 3 hours. What do you think?
Fair play. So back and forth action. You guys did work really, really well together. Ending comes when Ludwig Kaiser comes in. He slaps Gargano, allowing the Brutus Ball to connect for the pin. And that was basically it for that match. Next, we have a battle royal to determine the new number one contender for the women's title. We have Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Pepper Niven, Chelsea Green, Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch. Tell me when to stop. The list goes on. Basically, all the women on the roster. Becky comes out to the ring, but Zaya comes out, gives her a kick to the head, the same that she did to Candice LeRae, which kind of puts her out of the match. So you got your story there, the next storyline for Becky. And you know what? That's pretty cool, man. Good for Zaya, because now she's going to get some opportunity. She's kind of been in the back and catering for heaven knows how long. So, it's going to be interesting. That's a good storyline. Look, bottom line, it came down to Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler, with Zoe winning. So the new number one contender will be Zoe Starks, who will face Rhea Ripley at Survivor Series. So that's the first official match that we know of. So I guess you could say we're not going to see Raw versus SmackDown or anything like that. It's going to be within each brands.
Yeah, Survivor Series War Games. So
we'll get to that. Yeah, no, we'll get to that. And Xia Li, look at her go. Good for her, man. I like her, man. She actually has potential if she's got the opportunity, and being able to work being able to work with her now is going to be pretty interesting.
Yep, I
That's
do.
going to give her some good rub. Good for them. Let's see what they get with that. Finally, here we go. Main event time. We have Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. Not a bad match, man. Probably best
These
match.
guys,
It was solid.
oh, best match night by far. These guys work well together. They're both workhorses, right? Like, say I can, knock Sami Zayn's look all I want, but when he gets in the ring, he works hard, man. He throws one of the best. I said it before. He throws one of the best working punches, and his Halua kick, and like he gets a crowd going, and they're both the same size, and like they work well. Best match night by far, I thought. Good way to close the show out.
No,
Of
no,
course, Seth's going to win. Sami's not taking the belt on Raw, but hey, great match.
no, 100%. So the stomp is countered into a lion meter, and all things follow in a regular Boston, like they follow by a Boston crab.
Yep.
That was reversed into a small package to give them the win. So they both kicked out of their finishers and everything, but it was something simple as a small package that got the victory. So that keeps Sammy okay as well. Like it wasn't a bad loss. It was just one of
No,
those kind of
no
losses.
shame losing to the champ.
No, no. This, it was good. It was a good main event, man. They got in a few of the teases for the title change for Zayn coming after, after the title. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with all of this, man. I really enjoyed it. All right, post match, Judgment Day runs in, jumps in from behind, and Rollins takes a beating of his own. Jay runs in to make the save, but gets beaten down as well. And here we go, man. Cody Rhodes, one more time. I think this has happened on the last 3 Raw. Cody Rhodes, last man out, comes out, and they all start fighting, and everything is going the way it is. Adam Pearce comes in. I've never seen him angry like this before, man. You guys don't quit. No one quits. Blah, blah, blah. You want war. You want war. Match we already knew that was going to happen, but here we go. Bloodline, or sorry, Judgment Day against Cody, Sammy, Jay, and Seth in War Games. Monday Night Raw. What'd you think?
The Raw, above average, was decent. I wasn't great. It's hard coming off a big show like Crown Jewel, right? Those Raws after those shows are always hard, and it was all right. It was decent. Moved some storylines forward. Good main event. A couple good matches, but nothing special.
Yeah, I got no issues with it. I thought it was fine. It was a fun show for a Monday night. It did what it delivered what it was supposed to deliver. Survivor Series, though, which is really interesting. I guess it's only 2.5 weeks away, right? It's the same night as Benavides and Andrade. So that's a busy Saturday night, man, wherever you are.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty cool. So Chicago, man. Do you think Punk comes back or no?
No, I don't think so. They could be just saying that, they didn't want him back, and then he shows up. But do they really need him? They're such a hot company right now. They just merged with UFC. What do they need this guy for? It's going to make a bunch of problems for it.
Well,
they don't need him.
If they don't need him yet, but I think they could use him for Mania.
Why? Mania is so hot without him. We did what? Has he been gone 7-8 years?
True enough, but you bring him back for one. That's all you really need him for is that one pop, right? And you make all your money back.
Yeah, they'll be strict with him too. He's not going to be playing around backstage. I'll tell you that.
He won't be able to do any of the things that he does, right? So, but I it's inevitable. He's going to come back eventually.
Probably. I never cared for the guy even before when he's doing the whole straight edge. Just never liked the guy's attitude and the way he looks and carries himself. Always just thought he's a good worker. He put on some good matches. He's had some great matches. Can't knock his work. Even AEW is putting on some good matches. Just don't like his smug attitude and just always thought he's a little bit overrated. So you're probably right. One day he will come back, but I hate to say it, but I hope not. He comes back. There are some good stories that he could be doing with Triple H and Vince and all these guys. But who knows?
But does Vince ever become a non-air character again, do you think?
Not full time. He might come out once or twice, but he's not going to come out there. And I don't think. Yeah, you'll see him again, though. People think you're never going to see him again. He's still running the show. He's still second in command. He's still going to come out one day. He'll be at the Hall of Fame. He's going to be at Mania. You know what I mean? You'll see him less and less, but he's not going to be like he was before Stone Cold Vince. I mean, he's 78, right? But you'll see him again.
Fair enough. All right, brother man, do you got a top 5? Anything like that for us?
I do, yeah. Let's hear your top 5 favorite intercontinental champions of all time.
5 intercontinental champions of all time. My favorites. Okay. Pardon me. Well, I'm gonna have to go with Honky Tonk. Because he was, up until recently, up until now, man, he was the longest reigning champion. I mean, if you think about it, that man held the title. Like no one broke that record since the 90s,
Yeah, he's the
right?
longest
So,
reigning. Yeah,
so you got to give a shout out to the honky tonk man. Um, Tito Santana
yeah.
also. And I
Mhm.
liked him because when he won the title, and I remember he didn't have that long of a reign, but he beat Greg the Hammer Valentine in a steel cage match to win the title. And as a little kid, I was very happy to see, Tito win. But then having Greg take the belt and smash it against the cage to kind of really damage it and break it, that's what I remember from it. So I would have to put Tito on that list. And this is just all my own personal opinion. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with wins or losses. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, definitely, because I mean, those were the stepping stones to everything else. I know it's a top five, but I'd have to say
One
Triple H
more.
as well. Triple H. Again,
Yeah.
look at what that title did for those guys, right? In general. Where it elevated them to and took them to the next level. So
Just
back,
five.
well, yeah, but back in the day, the Intercontinental title was that precursor to the guy who's going, to the next level, sort of a deal, right? Not so much today per se. But at that time, if you had the Intercontinental title, you were that guy at some point in the future would become world champion.
Not always, but for the
Not
most
always,
part.
but for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go, man. Top five.
Good list. I would take only one guy I would put in there is one of my all-time favorites. I put Mr. Perfect in there myself, but it's so hard. Like your list is really good. It's personal opinion, right? I mean,
Yeah, no. I mean, again, if I can't disagree with that. Perfect against Piper was amazing.
Perfect versus Bret Hart.
Sorry,
But,
Perfect versus Bret Hart was amazing. Piper versus Bret Hart was amazing. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
yeah.
Right? I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of talent. You're right. There's a lot of guys out there who've had that belt.
Even
Like,
Macho Man was a good Intercontinental champ too. You can go on and on with it.
that's it, right? But
Right.
talk about guys who had the belt that never got that push that they probably deserved, aka Razor Ramon,
Mr. Perfect never
Mr.
got the belt.
Perfect, Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Even
are
Warrior was on. Even Warrior's Intercontinental champ. He got the belt too, but he was an Intercontinental champ too.
yeah, but Warrior had a different thing, right? I mean, they just pushed him and pushed him. But you look at three pure guys that should have been world champion, in my opinion.
If you got guys like Mr. Perfect and these guys wrestling today in remote, they'd be champs. They'd be stars. I mean, if they were stars, they'd be no problem. It's much deeper talent pool back then.
I would love to know why Razor never got a shot at the big belt. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, he has the size, he had everything that Vince likes, right? I mean,
Except there's too much drugs and booze. Probably couldn't trust him.
but at that time, was he on that? I think that was more so after he left.
No, he was always a drinker.
He
You heard
wasn't.
the party days.
But is it?
Pills, coke, booze.
But even at that time, is it safe to say that Vince had control of everyone because most of these guys had these issues and problems after they left him.
No, Razor had it during. You heard all the stories. The Click. Maybe I'm sure I'm not Vince not going to say it now that he's passed it. I'm sure that's a huge reason. Like, can I trust the guy? So you're going to go out there sloppy. And don't get me wrong, he has all the looks, the talk, the size. You betcha.
No.
Maybe that was the reason why he didn't get it.
It shows how well the WWE controls their talent. That's what I mean. Like, think about it. His drinking really didn't get out of hand or was exposed. Because I mean, to be fair, yeah, we all knew they all drank and everything, but it was never like what they did in WCW when they left. You know what I mean? Like, he came out to the ring drunk once before and things like that. So it just kind of shows, the levels in companies. Hands down, man.
Yep, absolutely. Vince runs a tight ship, still is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that's probably why. But like I said, there's only another thing. There's only so many spots. Not everybody can be champ. People always say this guy should have been champ. This guy should have been champ. But champion is something special. Only the special talent should get that. We can't give the belt to everybody. Like the WWE Hall of Fame, there's way too many people in there that shouldn't even be in there. They've watered it down. To me, Hall of Fame is for the immortals, for the elite, not for guys that were average at best. They were cool. Let's throw them in there just to fill up the show. They've weakened the Hall of Fame in WWE by doing that. I hate to say that because I do love WWE, but there's too many guys that aren't Hall of Famers. Yeah, they had a couple good matches, but what's the definition of a Hall of Famer? Like, everybody's in there. Name the guy that from the day is not in there. They're all in there.
Who's not in there that would be a common guy that would fit into.
Haku and Ming should be in there.
Honky Tonk's not in there.
Is he not in yet?
No.
Maybe he refuses to go in there, but he would be in there if he wanted to. I think he's refused it.
saying no. I don't know why. It's kind of
No, no, he's refused it. I've met Honky Tonk at least 10 times. He's refused it because of merchandising and rights. But he's been offered many times. I think he's the longest reigning Intercontinental champion of all time. If he wanted, they were going to put him in. He told him no for those reasons. That's what he was saying to me. But like besides Haku and Ming, who else from back in the day is not in there?
hmm, who else is not in there?
Everybody's in there.
Bad News Allen's not in there yet.
Yeah, but I mean,
But I'm just saying, we're putting
yeah,
it
I know, but
in
like pretty
there.
much everybody that was average, some of these guys, right? I'm trying to knock them, just saying like they've let in too many
No,
people that be in there.
I'm not knocking them at all. It's just
They need
like
to make a real Hall of Fame where you can go and visit. They're the only company that has a Hall of Fame that you can't actually go visit. You need to make a building or a warehouse, and maybe they will now.
well, I mean, they have enough stuff. I mean, do you ever watch those shows on A&D where they have like,
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, they got that huge warehouse.
dude, it's massive. I mean, they have everything they need to make a Hall of Fame. I mean, that warehouse alone could be the Hall of Fame.
And dude, they make tons of people buy the tickets to walk through there and look at everything. Like, I'm sure one day it'll happen. I'm sure they've talked about it. Surprised they haven't.
I'm surprised too,
Like
considering
I'm saying, we
everything,
call it the Hall of Fame, but there actually really is no Hall of Fame because there's no actual place.
considering how much stuff they have to play with there and everything. I'm
Money.
surprised it hasn't been done. I really
Yeah.
haven't. But then again, let's find out. Maybe we'll see something come up
One day.
one day, probably in Florida, right beside the Performance Center. I just don't see why they don't build it off of that, anyways.
I don't know. Hopefully, because it'd be a cool spot. Like you said, they got the memorabilia, they got the money, they got everything. They could easily do it.
Do you think it's because maybe they'd have to pay royalties to the talent and stuff, the characters?
I don't think so. You could just be putting their stuff up on display. They already own it anyways. Why can't they put up Undertaker's jacket? Why can't they put up Hogan's bandana? You know what I
But
mean?
some,
Like,
some of the lesser talent, say they put Coco Beware's kind of whatever. I'm just saying,
yeah.
right? Coco's not doing great. Well, wait, you guys are displaying all my stuff and taking all the
Well,
money.
no, because if they wouldn't, he wouldn't have it. If they have it in the warehouse, they own it.
No, I know, but it would just open the door for people to try to sue them and this and that. That's what I mean. Maybe that's why they haven't done it.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I
They
don't
should
know.
though. Figure something out.
There you go. All right, brother man. Why don't we wrap this up here today?
Yep.
Call it a session and move on to the next one. 2.5 weeks away from Survivor Series. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more answers as we get back to here next Tuesday. So I'm Samson, and he is Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, what do you got to say?
And in the words of the great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you, and in the words of the infamous Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp&Chance. Everyone, have a great rest of your week. Hope it's going well. We will see you soon. Samp&Chance out.